New York drill blew up in 2019 and started taking over the industry. And for a few years, it looked like the city might take over the rap game again. But then everything started falling apart. Today we're breaking down the huge arrests, brutal murders, and gang wars that destroyed New York drill. The rap game was way different back in the early 2010s. Kanye was running the whole industry and made a new lane for dudes who weren't rapping about the streets. There were still street rappers making some waves, but back then, nobody was hopping on Billboard hits and dissing dead ops. That all changed when Chief Keef blew up with Don't Like. He wasn't the first dude in Chicago to drop a drill track, but the song went so viral and changed the entire rap game. Chicago drill was the hottest new sound in the game, and most rap fans had never heard anything like it. Chief Keef, Lil Reese, Lil JoJo, and the rest of the early drill rappers were talking about what was really going on in the streets because they were still neck deep in the trenches. And what made everyone pay attention was how crazy the lyrics were. The dudes in Chicago were name dropping real dead guys and bragging about running up the score on their ops. The street violence they were rapping about got a lot of eyes on Chicago drill, and that's when it started spreading everywhere. New York drill took over the mainstream in 2019. But what a lot of fans don't know is how old the wave really is. Back in 2012, the first dude in New York who started popping off with drill rap was Polo Rell. Rell came up in the Bronx repping a set called B&B. He started dropping drill tracks right after the Chicago scene blew up, and for a second, it looked like Polo Rell was about to become the hottest new rapper in New York. He had a lot of buzz on his name and was one of the first East Coast dudes to hop on the drill wave. But before he could take it to the next level, Polo Rell got caught up in a crazy case and ended up getting a life sentence. In June 2014, Polo Rell and his homies were at a house party when they spotted an op named Keyshawn Porterfield. Like a lot of other drill rappers, Polo Rell was really about that life and up this strap at Porterfield. But instead of pulling the trigger himself, Polo Rell passed the gun to his homie who pulled the trigger and killed Porterfield. Polo Rell got hit with the murder charge over the situation. But then he also got hit with a RICO case that targeted B&B. The feds accused the crew of murder, attempted murder, selling drugs, and the cops claimed that Polo Rell even tried to rob a cab driver and pistol whipped him in the head. RICOs are even harder to beat than murder cases, and Polo Rell ended up with a life sentence plus 55 years on top. He wasn't the only early drill rapper from New York though, and the next artist who popped off from the city almost blew up even harder than Chief Keef. In 2014, Bobby Shmurda went viral overnight off the track Hot Nigga. Bobby was an 18-year-old from Brownsville, one of the worst neighborhoods in Brooklyn. Bobby started a wave by remixing tracks like Crime Mob's Knuck If You Buck, but didn't really catch on till he remixed the Lloyd Banks song Jackpot, which he called Hot Nigga. Bobby filmed the video right on his block in Brooklyn with all his homies and did his famous Shmoney dance, which turned into a viral dance. The video took off on YouTube for a lot of the same reasons that Chicago drill rappers like Chief Keef blew up. The video wasn't professionally made, and Bobby's raps didn't have a lot of complex wordplay or metaphors. But Hot Nigga had a raw energy that made it stand out, cause Bobby and his friend were really living the life they rapped about. It popped off like crazy and was running up millions of streams. Plus his Shmoney dance went viral all over social media. Huge celebrities like Drake and Beyonce were doing the dance on stage, and the whole world was introduced to Bobby Shmurda. Right after Hot Nigga blew up, Shmurda got booked on a gun charge. He was able to bond out and get right back to work. But then a few months later, the cops took him down again along with a bunch of other dudes from his crew. Shmurda repped a Crip set called GS9 and rapped about him on his song Hot Nigga when Bobby said, "Grimy Savage, that's what we are. Grimy shooters dressed in G-Star. GS9, I go so hard. But GS for my gun squad. And bitch, if it's a problem, we gon' gun brawl." One of the most famous lines from the track was when Shmurda shouted out his GS9 homie Mitch and rapped, "And tell my niggas, Shmurda teaming ho. Mitch caught a body about a week ago." And then court documents revealed that the cops thought Mitch really did try to kill someone. Shmurda ended up getting hit with a 7-year sentence. He could have gotten less time, but that would have meant his homie Rowdy Rebel and other members of GS9 would have to stay locked up even longer. So Shmurda kept it solid and took 7 years so everyone would get out at the same time. Fans reacted to Bobby for keeping it real, but it killed all its momentum in the rap game, and after he went down, the New York drill scene was quiet for a couple of years. There were some underground rappers dropping drill tracks though, like Gang 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 by a dude named Dada. But the track that most people think started the next New York drill wave was Suburban by 22G's. Suburban was huge for a lot of reasons. It was one of the first times a New York drill rapper linked up with a producer from the UK. While the drill wave in New York hadn't really taken off yet, UK drill was huge overseas with crews like 67, 150, and the Harlem Spartans all racking up crazy numbers. 22Gz linked up with a UK producer named Axel Beats for Suburban, and that's the first time most rap fans in America were hearing a UK-style drill beat. Another thing that made the track hot were the bars about the crew 22Gz reps and their ops. 22Gz was affiliated with a set called Blicky Gang that had issues with a crew called NBA, and on the track, 22Gz raps, "Pull up in all black, we purging. Pull up in all black Suburbans. If he ain't dead, we reversing. Blicky Gang know, we gon' murk him." And claim NBA, but they D-League. We bend they block in like 3 Vs. Watch how I make it look easy. Clipping them trays like I'm CP. Back when Chicago drill started popping off, a lot of fans started following what was going on in the streets too. DJ Academic started doing videos about the war in Chirac, and fans learned all about the crazy rap violence in the trenches. Then the same thing happened with New York drill. 22Gz was a wild dude who caught an attempted murder charge when he was just 16 years old. And even after Suburban popped off, 22Gz got caught up in a crazy road rage situation that left 2 people dead. Then a year later, he ended up getting booked on a gun charge too. 22Gz was still connected to the streets, and some of his ops hopped in the booth too. After Suburban popped off, a rapper affiliated with the G-Stone Crips named Jazz Gasoline dropped the track Big Ops America. It was the most aggressive drill track anyone had heard back then, and Jazz Gasoline took shots at 22Gz and the Blicky Gang when he rapped, "You got shot already. Who did you shoot back? Pussy boy gotta prove that. Fuck a Blicky, we got choppers. Don't come through here trying to shoot that." Jazz Gasoline also dissed the brutal murder of a dude named Johnny Blaze Santiago, who was beaten to death in 2011. Blaze was on his bike when the ops chased him down and knocked him off it. Then they used the bike to smash his head on the pavement, and on Big Ops America, Jazz raps, "No bikes, just SRTs and CLS. No BMX, when I say gun beaten like Blaze, cause we beat him to death." Then on the same track, Jazz Gasoline's homie, Ace Number 5, name dropped 22Gz and some other ops, rapping, "I catch an op, leave him slump. Better ask my ops. With you, slide just for fun. Who the fuck is 22Gz? Who the fuck is 16? Who the fuck is Cushion K? I pull up on them, let it spray." Big Ops America went crazy in New York, but didn't catch much attention outside of the city. But Jazz Gasoline wasn't 22Gz's only op who was going hard in the booth. In 2017, the next drill rapper from the city to blow up was Chef G. Chef reps the A-Tray Gangsta Crips, aka Moving Gang, and they got beef with 22Gz and the Blicky Gang. The Blicky Gang is a set of rappers who are mostly Gangsta Disciples. The Gangsta Disciples actually started in Chicago, and a lot of the early Chicago drill rappers like FBG Duck and King Lil J are GDs. Part of what made the Chicago drill wave blow up is the war between the BDs in O-Block and the GDs in St. Lawrence. Rappers like Chief Keef would talk about what was really going on in the streets, and that kept fans tuned into the music. So, the Brooklyn drill wave kind of started the same way. The Blicky Gang was affiliated with the GDs, who were known to beef with different Crip sets, including the Moving Gang. So when Chef G saw one of his ops getting some motion in the rap game, he decided to diss him. After 22Gz popped off with Suburban, Chef G clapped back with No Suburban and rapped, "Better recognize who you dealing with. Run up, gun up, gon' be a death. Leave a Blicky looking all sticky, drippy. Paramedics looking for his chest. Catch him time, cause you know them Blickies quick, you stupid niggas running with the best." No Suburban also took off and went viral, racking up millions of views even though it was Chef G's first song. The diss is what got people's attention, but Chef also had the perfect voice for rapping over dark UK drill beats and clearly had a lot of talent. After dropping No Suburban, Chef G ended up getting locked up for a few months, which slowed down his music career. But by the time he got out, fans were waiting for him to drop new music, and his sound helped take Brooklyn drill in a whole new direction. Chef G and his homie Sleepy Hollow were both popping off and bringing a lot of attention to New York drill. Between 2016 and 2018, there were a few dudes making waves with it. But even though New York drill had been around since at least 2012, nobody had really pushed it into the mainstream yet. But then in 2019, that all changed. Pop Smoke kicked down the doors and put New York drill on the map in 2019 when he dropped his track, Welcome to the Party. By that point, there were already a few rappers in New York making drill on UK drill beats. But Pop linked up with the best UK drill producer in the game, 808 Mello. 808 Mello was already a legend in the UK drill scene and was making beats for huge UK rappers like Headie One, 410, and K-Trap. Pop Smoke and 808 Mellow found the perfect style to take New York drill to the next level, and Pop became the hottest rapper in the world almost overnight. Pop was also working with a producer named Rico Beats. Rico Beats was managed by a music industry executive named Steven Victor, who was known for working with huge names like Kanye West and Pusha T. Steven Victor knew that Pop Smoke was about to be a star, so he signed him to his management company, Victor Worldwide. Pop Smoke already had a wave in Brooklyn, but once he got support from someone with real industry connections like Steven, Pop was able to take the Brooklyn drill sound to a whole different level. Pop Smoke went on to sign a huge deal with Republic Records and dropped his first mixtape in 2019. And he's the real reason drill blew up in New York. Pop was running up crazy numbers and selling out massive shows everywhere. Nicki Minaj and Skepta both remixed Welcome to the Party, which introduced fans around the world to Pop Smoke's music. Pop also had a feature on the song Gotti from Travis Scott's Cactus Jack compilation album, Jack Boys, which helped him get a lot of new attention. He wasn't just changing the rap game in New York. Pop Smoke was on his way to becoming a legit superstar. He kept the momentum up in 2020 and dropped his second mixtape in February, but then just 12 days later, Pop was brutally murdered at an Airbnb in Los Angeles. Pop Smoke had heavy street ties in New York and repped a crew called The Wu. And when he died, a lot of people thought it was over some gang beef with their ops, the Chos. But then news broke that it was just some random dudes who spotted his address on Pop's Instagram stories and decided to rob him. They broke in and tried to jack his watch. Then the situation went left and one of them shot Pop to death when he tried to fight back. Pop Smoke's death shocked the entire world, but he already made a lane for New York drill to hit the mainstream, and there were a lot of rappers trying to take a spot at the top. Fivio Foreign blew up in 2019 as well, and for a while, it looked like Fivio might be the next guy to keep New York drill alive. He had a lot of big hits like Big Drip and Zoo York, and he even linked up with Drake for the track Demons. Nobody was hitting the same numbers as Pop Smoke though, and that's when a new drill wave started taking over the city. Almost all the early New York drill rappers who hit the mainstream came from Brooklyn. They were all hopping on UK-style beats that sounded like what had been coming out of London. But then rappers from the Bronx came in with a totally different sound. Polo Rell was the first Bronx drill rapper who was getting some buzz on his name, but the next wave took it to a whole new level. Rappers like Dougie B, K-Flock, Ron Suno, and Shy K all started dropping music around 2019 and 2020. They had a different style than drill rappers from Brooklyn, and a lot of producers in the Bronx were using beats that sampled famous pop songs like Everything by Mary J. Blige. The sound was crazy different and caught a lot of attention, but what really made Bronx drill pop off was when they turned up the disrespect to a new level. There were a lot of rappers putting on for the Bronx, but first off, we're gonna talk about the dude most people were calling the face of the Bronx, K-Flock. K-Flock came up in the Southside area of the Bronx and reps a set called DOA. His homies Dougie B and B Love hop in the booth first, but eventually they convinced K-Flock to hit the studio with them, and he started going viral from the jump. In 2020, K-Flock dropped his first track called FTO and another track called Op Spotter with B Love, and both did crazy numbers. But what really took K-Flock to the next level was when he dropped the track Is You Ready, where he dissed his own alleged cousin. K-Flock's apparent cousin is also a rapper that goes by the name D-Thang. Bronx drill rappers were so heavily influenced by Chicago that D-Thang even admitted he was given the nickname by his homie who picked it because Lil Durk's brother was named D-Thang. But even though D-Thang and K-Flock were both trying to make it as rappers, they were also from rival hoods. So they would diss each other in music and on social media. On the song Is You Ready, K-Flock raps, "Go ask my ops, it get ugly. I could do shh like Ice did to Sonny." The bar is a reference to the movie Paid in Full, where the character Ice kidnapped his own nephew Sonny to hold him for ransom and ended up killing him. So K-Flock was saying he could do the same thing to his cousin D-Thang. The bar was pretty cold and showed how savage Bronx drill rappers were willing to get. The drama also helped the record blow up and get millions of views. Chicago drill legend G Herbo even jumped on the remix to K-Flock's song Being Honest, which made even more fans tune into what was going on in the Bronx. K-Flock blew up so fast that a lot of people thought he was going to be the next rapper to reach Pop Smoke's level in the drill scene. And even Bobby Shmurda called K-Flock the godfather of New York drill. But right when Flock was about to hit the mainstream and take over the game, he got caught up in a murder case and has been locked up ever since. Drill rappers really being about that life is a big reason why the wave popped off, but all the violence is also what ended up destroying it. K-Flock repped DOA, and they had beef with other sets in the Bronx like the YGs. Back in the day, DOA was cool with some other guys in other sets like the OGs and OYs. But that all changed and is allegedly the reason why K-Flock caught a body and turned the Bronx into a war zone. According to rumors, a rapper from the OGs and a dude from the OYs named E-Dot Baby were both cool with Flock and the rest of DOA. E-Dot was popping off with his track, Ready for War, and probably would have linked up with K-Flock in the studio. But then E-Dot Baby was spotted chilling with one of Flock's ops from the YGs. E-Dot Baby was allegedly invited to a party with a crew called Structure, and when he showed up, there were some dudes from the YGs there too. It didn't seem like E-Dot was really trying to link up with the ops, and the OGs were ready to move past it, but then K-Flock got heated over the situation. DOA stopped rocking with the OYs, but Shy K and the rest of the OGs stayed tight with them, and that's when the beef between DOA and the OGs started. E-Dot Baby and K-Flock started sending shots back and forth, and on the track Clickin', K-Flock raps, "Why these niggas is actors? Bitch, I shoot like the Raptors. Gang in the back, and they blitz like the Packers. You don't shoot like Kobe, you play for the Lakers." Then E-Dot clapped back on his track Geek and raps, like, "No, I don't play for the Lakers, like, I'm a gangster taking them risks. Stepside K, all that shit to my dick." It wasn't just dissing on record for clout though, and the whole time the real violence in the streets was getting worse every day. In 2021, a DOA affiliate named J-Rip was shot and killed. A few days before he was killed, J-Rip was allegedly at the scene when a rapper from Sex Money Murder named Ty Swish was shot and killed. And rumors said the ops went spinning on J-Rip, even though he wasn't the one who took out Ty Swish. Then just a few hours after J-Rip was killed, a YG's affiliate named Rod G's was on his way to the studio when two shooters pulled up and killed him for allegedly clowning J-Rip's death online. J-Rip was tight with K-Flock before he died, and Shy K clowned K-Flock and J-Rip on the track Get Back when he rapped, "When you see me, better up the knocks. Smoking J-Rip, we don't fuck with the flocks. Like, word to my mother, you shot." Shy K and Dougie B were cool with each other before the E-Dot situation. Then in 2021, Dougie got slid on by the ops and was shot in the leg. And after the news broke that Dougie B got shot, Shy K dropped the track Don't Forget That and rapped, "Don't run, I ain't let him trip. Hop out the V and niggas up the blitz. DOA K, all that shit to my dick. Dougie B, he got shot in the leg. What the fuck? Free Keem, cause I know he gon' up." And on the track Talk My Shit Part 3, Shy K dissed him again and said, "Slide through the Sev, tryna knock off his head. Hop out, he fled. Dougie got shot, he was yelling, my leg." Then the Bronx drill wave took another loss after K-Flock's homie, C-High Watts, was shot and killed in the middle of the street. It was another tragic death for the drill scene, and just gave the ops more things to diss K-Flock over. Then in 2022, an OY member named Nadi Osama and his brother Didi Osama hopped on the drill wave and started taking crazy shots. On the track What You Wanna Do, Nadi sent a shot at C-High and K-Flock when he raps, "KK what? K-Flock to my dick. His mans got hit and didn't do shit. Nothing to say, scream DOA, put a hole in his face." And on the track Dead Ops, Nadi said, "C-High had died, nobody gon' slide. I'm a devil, just look at my eyes. I'm only 14 with a Glock on my side. If I catch me an op, bullets rip through his spine." Nadi and Didi Osama were both blowing up right after they hopped in the booth. But just as Nadi got his name buzzing, he was brutally killed in a subway station. In July 2022, Nadi and his homie spotted an op and chased him down. Nadi hit the op with a broomstick, and that's when the other dude pulled out a knife and stabbed Nadi to death. Nadi was only 14 when he died, and his death was another huge shock to the New York drill scene. Kids who get wrapped up in the street life tragically get killed all the time, but drill rap put even more attention on the violence. Nadi had beef with a crew called 4-1, and after he died, they dropped the track Nadi Bop and rapped, "Nadi Nadi boppin', punching my hips. Like, come here, gotta do it like this. Don't drop my shit. Damn, he tried to dip, but he tripped. Beef ain't dead till he dead in the spliff." They also made a dance for the track that clowned the way Nadi died. And the dance went viral all over social media, even though most people had no idea they were disrespecting a teenager who got stabbed to death. All the violence happening in the drill scene was getting headlines even outside of the city. So the mayor of New York, Eric Adams, held a press conference and said he wanted social media to start taking down drill videos. It was a tough situation, because hopping in the booth was the only legit way a lot of the dudes coming up could make real money instead of hustling in the trenches. But at the same time, people thought the music was making the violence in New York even worse. Fivio Foreign and some other drill rappers actually had a meeting with the mayor Eric Adams about the ban, and eventually the mayor decided to back down. But drill rappers still had some other problems in the city. Back in 2019, New York asked Rolling Loud to take drill rappers out of the lineup because they were worried that something could pop off. So Rolling Loud removed Casanova, Pop Smoke, Chef G, and 22 G's all from the lineup. Then in 2022, the same thing happened after cops forced Rolling Loud to take 22 G's, Sha E.K, and Ron Suno out as well. Some people in power didn't want New York drill to take over the city because they thought it was making the violence worse. But the people who really destroyed the wave were the rappers who made it pop off. Drill fans loved how real the music and the artists were. Rappers were dissing each other on IG Live, sliding into op territory, and then airing out all the street business on tracks. And most of them couldn't stay out of trouble with the cops. After Pop Smoke died, a lot of people thought Fivio Foreign could be the new face of Brooklyn drill. He was racking up millions of views on everything he dropped and started working with huge stars like Kanye. But even when he was in the spotlight, Fivio couldn't stop getting arrested. Back in 2020, he was booked on an assault charge for allegedly putting hands on his girlfriend. Then in 2021, Fivio left his Benz running in a no parking zone and went inside a bank. When he came out, there was a cop there who wanted to see his license, but Fivio just walked away. More cops were called, and Fivio tried to run away on foot, but the cops caught up to him and found a pistol on him with a scratched off serial number. Fivio was booked in jail but got out a few months later and still has some momentum. He dropped his album, Bible, in 2022, which had features from Kanye, Lil TJ, and Polo G. But Fivio couldn't keep it up, and his career has been going down ever since. One thing that really hurt Fivio was when he linked up with a drill rapper named Lil Mabu. Lil Mabu was a white teenager from a rich family who started making drill music and popped off because his image as a skinny white guy talking about going on drills. It was clear from the jump that Mabu wasn't really about that life and probably just had some industry connections. But other drill rappers like Dusty Locane and Diddy Osama still made tracks with him. It made more sense for Dusty Locane and Diddy to link up with Lil Mabu because they were still trying to get their names buzzing in the industry and Mabu's tracks were blowing up. But Fivio was already working with superstars in the rap game, so that's why so many fans thought Fivio collabing with Lil Mabu was a whack move. Working with someone like Lil Mabu really didn't help Fivio's career. And when Fivio Foreign dropped his new project in 2024, most of the tracks didn't even hit 1 million streams. A lot of people think 22 G's kicked off the whole Brooklyn drill wave with Suburban, and for a while, he was one of the hottest rappers in the city. 22 G's even signed a deal with Kodak Black's Sniper Gang label and did a song with Yak called Spin the Block. Fans thought that signing to Kodak would help 22 G's blow up in the mainstream and attract more fans outside of New York. But then Kodak started having his own legal problems and wasn't really promoting 22 G's music that much, so it ended up going nowhere. 22 G's was running up huge numbers in 2019 and 2020, but then he caught an attempted murder charge in 2022 for allegedly shooting 3 people in Brooklyn. 22 G's bonded out a few days later and dropped a few more hits in 2022 and 2023, but then his momentum fell off and his new music wasn't making waves at all. Chef G also came close to taking over the drill scene, but then he fumbled the chance and now could end up with a life sentence. Chef was repping the A-Tray Gangsta Crips, aka Moving Gang, when he was just 12 years old. He got booked for the first time when he was 15, and later caught a gun charge and spent 5 years on probation. Chef kept getting wrapped up in new cases, but at the same time wanted to change how he was moving, and that's when he hopped in the booth and dropped his track, No Suburban. Dissing 22 G's and the Blicky Gang on the song got him a lot of attention and helped Brooklyn drill get some momentum back, but then Chef allegedly got stabbed in the head over the track. According to rumors, a dude from the Blicky Gang named Nick Blicky got the drop on Chef and stabbed him. Then in 2020, Nick Blicky was shot and killed, and Chef dissed Nick Blicky on the track, Start Some Shit, when he raps, "Remember I got cut? The ops is all on the split." All the beef and dissing got even more eyes on Chef. He was racking up millions of streams every time he dropped something, but then he caught a gun charge in 2021 and was handed down a 2-year sentence. While Chef was locked up, his homie Sleepy Hollow was holding it down for the crew. Sleepy Hollow ran up over 1 billion streams on Spotify off just 2 tracks, Die Young and 2055. Plus, he had other hits like Deep End Freestyle that made him one of the hottest rappers on TikTok and in the world. Fans were ready for Chef G to get out of jail and link back up with Sleepy Hollow in the booth. But then in 2023, the news broke that they were both facing a way more serious case. Chef G, Sleepy Hollow, and 30 other alleged affiliates of the A-Tray and 9-Way crews were all named in a huge indictment. According to the cops, they had been going to war with a crew called the ICG Babies and the Folk Nation GDs too, and Chef G was allegedly behind everything. The police accused the 8 Trays and 9 Ways of killing a Blicky affiliate named Sniper Blicky back in 2020, plus 12 other shootings. And what makes the story even crazier is that Chef G allegedly took them all out to a steak dinner to celebrate killing Sniper Blicky. That's when the ICG Babies allegedly slid on Chef's crib and started letting off shots. Nobody got hit, but the next day, Chef and some of his homies in the moving gang allegedly clapped back in ICG Babies' territory and shot 2 innocent bystanders. Someone in Chef's crew allegedly leaked his location to the ops, and that's how they shot up his crib. So moving gang allegedly caught the dude in the street and started stomping him out. Then they shoved him in a whip and drove out to a cemetery. They dragged the dude out of the car and were about to beat him to death right there. But someone saw what was going down and called the cops before the moving gang could kill him. It's not clear how involved Sleepy Hollow was with everything that moving gang was doing, but Sleepy was named in the indictment as a co-conspirator and is still facing a lot of time. He bonded out and has been making moves in the industry though. Sleepy Hollow popped off with the drill wave, but he told GQ that the movement is pretty much dead now and he's not really making drill anymore. Plus, it wasn't only the Crips who were taking losses. The GDs also had another rapper named Coach the Ghost, who looked like he was about to blow up after signing the Gucci Mane's 1017 label. But almost immediately after the news broke, Coach was dropped from the label and ended up catching a murder charge. Coach the Ghost reps a GD set from Brooklyn and was one of the original members of the gang that eventually became known as the Chos. In the early 2010s, the Woos and Chos were known as the Wave Gang and the Hood Stars. In 2012, police did a major gang takedown called Operation Tidal Wave and arrested 43 dudes affiliated with the 2 gangs. Even though he was only 16 at the time, Coach the Ghost was named as one of the leaders of the Hood Stars and ended up getting sentenced to 6 years in prison. When Coach got out, the Brooklyn drill wave was taking over the world and some of his ops were the biggest rappers in the scene. Coach was mainly beefing with Fivio Foreign, and they would diss each other in songs and on social media. Then in 2020, Coach the Ghost dropped his track Hit List, where he not only dissed Fivio, he also dissed Pop Smoke, who had just died a few months before. On the song, Coach raps, "I was searching and looking for Fivio. Fuck around and got Addy on Guapo. Yeah, he's still complaining that he's still trying to be famous, but bullets don't care if you hot, bro. Baby, you should take heat. That's the silly sounds of Jay Guapo. We don't gotta kill him, we could just rob him and drill him. And show him he not, bro. Remove the cheese from his nachos. Psych, we knock the meat out his taco. And if you get money, then why you condoning the same shit that got Pop smoked?" The song blew up, mainly because Coach the Ghost was dissing 2 of the biggest names in Brooklyn drill. He was mostly going after Fivio, but also took a shot at Pop Smoke for getting killed by trying to act tougher than he really was. At the time, no one knew exactly what had happened to Pop Smoke, so a lot of people still assumed he was killed by ops from New York. Gucci Mane ended up seeing the video for Hit List. Gucci posted it to his social media and told all his fans to put him in touch with Coach the Ghost because he wanted to sign him. Coach later posted photos of himself wearing a 1017 chain, showing that he actually linked up with Gucci and signed the deal. 1017 was going on a major run at the time and had big artists like Pooh Shiesty and Fujiano doing crazy numbers. So fans thought Coach the Ghost might be the next big drill rapper to come out of Brooklyn and take the sound to a whole new level. But Coach fell off pretty much as quickly as he blew up. When 1017 released a new mixtape with all the new artists on the label, Coach wasn't on it. Coach later revealed that he signed directly to Atlantic instead of working with 1017, but he was still on good terms with Gucci. No one knows what really happened, but according to rumors, Gucci didn't realize that Coach had dissed Pop Smoke on Hit List and wasn't tapped into gang politics in New York. It probably wasn't a good look for Gucci to sign a new artist who had just dissed a well-loved rapper who had just been killed, so he helped Coach sign a deal directly with Atlantic instead. But without the co-sign from Gucci, Coach's career never really went anywhere. Then in 2021, Coach was arrested for the murder of a 17-year-old. According to police, a dude named Brian Sandin was walking down the street with some friends in Brooklyn when a shooter hopped out of a silver sedan and started letting off shots. Multiple people were hit, but Brian ended up passing away. Police believe that Coach the Ghost was the shooter and that Brian and the others were targeted because of their affiliation with the Wolves. So just like a lot of drill rappers, Coach the Ghost blew up by dissing his ops, but it didn't take long for the beefs to get him blackballed and put behind bars. Brooklyn drill took a lot of big losses that slowed the whole scene down, but the Bronx was falling off even harder. K-Flock was basically the face of Bronx drill and was on his way to hitting the mainstream, but then he allegedly caught a body after DOA fell out with the OYs and OGs. Back in December 2021, K-Flock was walking past a barbershop when an alleged OY affiliate came out and started following K-Flock down the street. It's not clear what happened next, but Flock allegedly upped his strap and killed a dude named Walker right there. Fans were hoping that K-Flock was going to beat the case, and rumors were saying he would be home in March 2023. Flock had been locked up for a while, but his name was still buzzing in the industry and he could have kept up the momentum. For a second, it looked like K-Flock was going to be home and get right back to work, but then he got wrapped up in a crazy RICO case. The RICO named 8 members of Sev's side and Third's side and accused K-Flock and his homies of turning the Bronx into a war zone between 2019 and 2022. Besides allegedly killing Waka, the cops also accused K-Flock of letting off shots at the ops in 2020 and 2021. Beating the murder case is one thing, but Flock might never come home again now that he's facing a RICO case. K-Flock was known for sending crazy shots at the ops, even if they were related to him. His alleged cousin D-Thang came up repping the YGs in the River Park Towers area, which made K-Flock ops with his own apparent cousin. D-Thang and Flock sent shots back and forth in the music and were blowing up in the Bronx, but then both of them got wrapped up in big cases. RPT is one of the most notorious hoods in the city, and the cops have been trying to take him out for years. Back in 2014, 20 RPT members got taken down, but that didn't change anything. YGs and River Park Towers had issues with sets all over the Bronx like DOA, Sev's side, the Drillies, and the OYs. D-Thang was blowing up around the same time as his cousin K-Flock, and on the track Talk Facts, D-Thang sent shots at Flock and the rest of his ops rapping, "They know RPT niggas be on that shit, and I'm trying to pack me a OY. I still be searching for Jiggies. Family first, so we see the Flockas. The Charlie don't hit without Benji. It's like, how many dead niggas do y'all got?" D-Thang was putting a lot of pressure on the ops in the booth, but then in 2022, he got caught up in a massive indictment with 33 other RPT affiliates. The cops accused him of attempted murder, assault, animal cruelty, and gun charges. D-Thang was one of the hottest Bronx drill rappers at the time, but then he got hit with a 3 to 5 year sentence and lost his momentum. He came home in 2024, but it's not clear if he can keep the drill wave alive after he's been gone for so long. The RPT case wasn't the only thing that hurt the Bronx drill scene though. Besides DOA, the OGs, OYs, and YGs, one of the biggest sets who was making noise in the drill wave was a crew called the Drillies. Spaz Drilly started the set after his homie Dumbout was killed back in 2018. They were both repping the Bloodhound Brims and allegedly even robbed Lil TJ before any of them were famous. But then Dumbout was stabbed to death at a barbecue and it caused a lot of internal beef with the crew. After that, Spaz split off and started the Drillies and immediately started going hard in the booth. His first hit was the track Bunny Hop. Then he got even more clout by taking shots at the ops on tracks like Op Spotter when he rapped, "Shoot at an O, O&B, or an OY. J-Sap dissing us, we don't know why. Crips linking up with Bloods, they can both die. Drilly Gang EBK on the north side. Tell them niggas from the court slide." K-Flock and his homie B-Love clapped back with the remix of the song and rapped, "Shooting off of eyesight, the way I been blocks like, niggas got me on highs like, don't bunny hop, you get shot on the spot." And KKB with me, that boy make it active. If we catch an op, we put him in the casket. Going 50 for 50, niggas ass at the pavement like mattress. Make a bunny hop into a backflip. Spaz wasn't just beefing with DOA on record though, and in 2020, he allegedly killed one of their members named James Rivera. Spaz got locked up over the situation, but Lee Drilly was still putting on for the crew in the rap game. Lee Drilly kept up the pressure on DOA with tracks like Deadly, where he rapped, "Flock Flocka, got that nigga's head. Teach me how to Dougie, cause I got a leg. I don't fuck with nobody, who you gonna get next to? I will never let them know my next move." The Drillies were making a lot of noise by beefing with basically everyone in the game. But then in 2022, the cops arrested Lee and 19 other Drilly affiliates in a special investigation they called Operation Drilly. The Bronx District Attorney said the investigation had been going on for 3 years and that the Drillies were responsible for a ton of violence going on in the Bronx. 4 Drillies allegedly almost stabbed a student to death back in 2019 while he was walking home from school. And the cops think they also killed a woman named Delilah Vasquez. Delilah Vasquez was tight with D-Thang and some other YG's members, and she used to hang around a lot of Drillies too. She wasn't actually affiliated with any sets though, and that's what made her murder even more shocking. Delilah was found with a gunshot to the head in an abandoned apartment complex, and there have been all kinds of rumors about what actually went down. Some people say she was backdoored by her homies in the Drillies, but others say it was just an accident and Delilah didn't have any enemies. Delilah wasn't active in the streets, but she became one of the most dissed people in the Bronx drill scene for a while. A lot of people dissed her and Spaz's homie Dumb Out at the same time, like on the track D&D when Shy K raps, "It's a whole lot of ops I could smoke, but I'd rather just smoke on Delilah," and "Smoking Dummy got me feeling different." Then "Might blow like TNT, that's D&D. Free bro, got booked for the knocker, dummy. Dumb bitch, you better move proper, Lila." Shy K dissed him again on the track Right Now Part 2 and raps, "Dummy and Lottie, that's block work. Delilah got shot, now the ops hurt." Then see Blue hop on the track and said, "Like how many ops just died? Delilah got put in the sky. Heard that little bitch got shot in her eye. Now a little bitch can go be with Dummy. Trying to run up, boy, you was a dummy." It's not clear if the Drillies took Delilah out on purpose, but the indictment stopped all the momentum they had in the drill scene. There are still drill rappers in New York making some noise, but at this point, it's clear that nobody's gonna hit the same numbers that Pop Smoke was doing before he died. Most of the biggest names ended up in jail, dead, or just fell off. And now the hottest drill rapper in New York is Ice Spice. Some new crews like the Sweepers are running up decent numbers for underground rappers, but they're not hitting any numbers like the Stars of the Wave were doing between 2019 and 2022. New York drill was the hottest thing in rap for a while and looked like it was going to take over the whole industry. But now most fans are moving on and the scene is probably about to die off completely.